Do you have a favorite ride at the Disneyland Resort? If so, how many times have you been on it? Well, one Southern California man can quickly answer both of those questions.
You should never give up. If you have a goal, you should never get up. Keep after it. There may be days where you think you won't get it, but as long as you keep chugging away, you're going to get it.
My name's Jon Hale. I've worked in the horse racing industry, television-wise, for the last probably 20 years. And then the 2 days of the week that I'm not working, I go to Disneyland and get on Radiator Springs Racers.
Radiator Springs Racers opened with Disney California Adventure's Cars Land expansion on June 15, 2012, at the cost of over $200 million. It's known as an innovative slot car dark ride, which uses a similar transport system to the one first utilized for another groundbreaking attraction called Test Track at Epcot in Walt Disney World.
Oh yeah, it's definitely my favorite ride. It opened in June of 2012. So that year on the ride, I know I went 56 times. I did 56, and then the next year, so let's see if we can do a little more. So I got up to 316, but when I got to 300, I actually made a 300 sign. And so as I was coming up the single rider line, one of the managers saw me with the sign, and so as my car came back and I had the sign, she had all the cast members clapping. So that's when I first started to get to know the cast members at Racers. So in fact, I told one of the cast members that the next year I was going for 400, and then they mentioned, oh, that's a good number to go for. But when 2014 started, I started getting laps after laps, and all my days off I'd spend there. And then I'd spending maybe 3 hours at a time, then maybe 4 hours, and kept building up. And then they kind of knew when I was getting close to 1,000. So the day it happened, everybody's keeping their eye on me. I kind of didn't know why they were doing that. So they actually knew when I got in car 999, they knew which car it was. And I saw these people, the cast members standing up, they're all there waiting for me. And I got out of their car and they said, well, here, you got one more lap to go. So 5 cast members jumped in the car with me. I had a 1,000 lap sign. So then we went around, took pictures and everything. They gave me a piston cup. And one of the guys actually made a nice little art piece, a little cars thing. And then they had the Animation Academy made a drawing of the outline of the ride and then had all the cast members sign that. So they gave me that, and I think some of them even thought that was my goal, just for 1,000. But they didn't know that spurred me on to go even more.
New at 5, a Brea man takes his love for Disney's California Adventure to a whole new level. Today, he reached a major milestone, riding the Radiator Springs Racers ride for the 2,000th time.
When I hit 1,000, it was July of 2014. By November of that same year, I got to 2,000. In fact, ABC found out about it, and ABC came out the day that I hit 2,000, and that was a pretty crazy day.
I was originally only going to go for 500, but then I got that quick, and then I got to 1,000, then mid-July I said the only number to go for would be 2,000.
People were all over the place, and I was able to ride with another cast members with my 2,000 sign, so it was pretty crazy that day.
Flip that tag! Yeah!
So by the time I got to 3,000, I wasn't really thinking too much about it. And one of the cast members says, well, when are you going to hit 3,000? I go, well, I think today. And she actually came in on her day off, and she was able to get into the car for the 3,000. I had a sign, had some friends that came out, and they were in the car side by and took some pictures of it and stuff. So actually, there's only one girl that's actually been in the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, and 6,000 car. Every 1,000 laps I can get to ride with the cast members, that's all I need. So, I mean, it's gotten pretty crazy. So now, obviously, the goal is 10,000, because I found out the time that I hit 5,000, I was interviewed by the Orange County Register. And I told him about this lady that I had thought had done Indiana Jones about 3,000 times. He contacted Disney, and Disney told him, no, she did it 10,000 times. I always had 10,000 out there, but now this reinforced that I have to get at least 10,000 on Racers just to beat her. I'm going to get at least 10,000. I probably won't stop at 10,000, but that's really the mark I want to hit, probably by the end of next year.
Radiator Springs Racers was inspired by Disney Pixar's Cars animated film franchise and includes appearances by advanced audio animatronic characters voiced by actors Owen Wilson, Larry the Cable Guy, and more.
They're pretty good movies, but I'm more of a fan of the ride. It was probably the last 25 years that I pretty much have gone to Disneyland by myself. That's probably where I started keeping track. In fact, in 2001, I actually started keeping track of my numbers, the days I went to the park, which of the 2 parks I went on, and then each ride that I went on and how many times I went on that ride. I always liked the parks, but it came to the point where I weighed over 400 pounds, like 410 pounds, and I had bad knees. So if I ever wanted to go to Disneyland with anybody besides myself, I'd have to rent one of those scooters that cost like $60 for the day. It came to the point where I just had too much of it. I wanted to enjoy Disneyland. So luckily at the time I was able to have gastric bypass surgery. Then 1 year later, I had double knee replacement surgery. And then 9 months after that, Radiator Springs Racers opened. And they had a preview day, and I paid extra, went to the preview day, and the very first time I was looking on there seeing, well, let's see if I'm gonna be able to bend my knees to get in that back seat. It looked like the front seat had enough room, but can I fit in that back seat? And then I did, and I fell in love right there.
Six passengers can ride in each car at a time as they weave through Ornament Valley, on into Radiator Springs itself, and then finally back outside where the attraction culminates in a randomized white-knuckle race against another vehicle over a twisty, hilly desert course. The experience lasts about 4 minutes and 30 seconds and covers a full mile of track.
I think the main thing is the race. The race is the part that keeps bringing me back. If they didn't have the race, I might not like it as much. It's only lasts 45 seconds, but it's the race. It's the race that keeps bringing me back.
Way to go, hotshot. Tore up that track like a real dirt hound.
I started this maybe a couple years ago. I said, well, let's just keep track of the numbers. Some little conversation piece with people in line. They go, no, wait, that's not real. That's not the numbers you got. And, oh, yeah, that's the number. So after, it doesn't count a lap for me until I cross the finish line. So once I cross the finish line, I have the number right behind it. One time the ride got stopped 30 feet from the finish line, and they evacuated us from the ride. But when they took us off the ride, we walked underneath the finish line, so I counted that one as a lap. If the park opens at 8 o'clock, I'll leave my house probably at 5:45 and be one of like the first 1 or 2 cars in the parking lot when it opens at 6:30. So then when I get to the ride, usually the first 5 laps are usually the hardest, but once after that 5, then it gets rolling. And then if it's slow, I'll take a break after 5. If it's not, I'll keep going, wait till 10. And if it's not going like yesterday, I didn't take a break till after 20 laps. It's hard for me to walk away from the ride sometimes.
For a number of years after opening, the ride would regularly generate wait times of several hours, though that was alleviated for some guests by the implementation of FastPass and single rider queues.
Just because of the single rider queue, I think this is the only ride that I could get this many numbers on.
Single rider, straight ahead. Your party's being separated.
Some days are good, some days are bad, but last year I averaged 20 rides each time I went to the park last year. The year before was 17, so you can't get that numbers on any other rides. I know that. But I actually keep track. I have a little notepad that I keep track when I go to the ride. So I write on there the date, then I write on there the time that I arrived at the ride, then the lap, and then I actually keep track of the color of car I get in, the lane of the race, and if I win or lose the race. Which is really weird because it hasn't, from one year to the next, it's been totally different. Like 1 year, Luigi's side of the race, I'd win more. Then the next year, Ramon's side of the race, I'd win more. This other day, I had 14 wins in a row. And then today I've had 12 losses in a row. So it's just weird how things kind of balance out. But by the end of the year, I'm like, have more wins than losses. And you would think it'd be more 50% of the time. But I know in 2014, I had like 30 more wins and losses. And last year was like over 60 more wins and losses. Everybody wants to win. I'm a very competitive person. I mean, that's this whole thing. I'm very competitive. I don't like losing anything. Of course, this is basically competing with time and myself, but still, if I set a goal, I want to hit that goal. It might take a while, but I'll eventually get there. No one's going to pass me. I can tell you that. This is a record that no one's ever going to pass me. There's no way, because I'll keep going. I mean, it is kind of neat saying I'm the only one that's been on this ride this many times. Out of all the Disney parks, I've gone on one ride more than anybody else has ever have. So. Reason why, I mean, I can't really pinpoint one reason. It's like a bunch of reasons why I do it. I mean, it's a hobby, I mean, more than anything. I mean, I'm not really doing this for me 100%. It's like I'm doing it for everybody that's following the whole thing. I mean, they all want me to achieve this. I want to achieve it too, but it's like if I didn't have everybody coming together and cheering me on and rooting me on, there's no way I would keep going. But they kind of help me keep going, keep achieving that goal. It's a community. It's the Disney community. I mean, I have some friends that come, but it's mostly the cast. It's interaction with the cast members. They're great. I mean, even two of the girls that work there invited me to their wedding. So that's the kind of connection that I've got with the cast members. And they're pretty much one of the main reasons that I've kept going till 1,000, because I know they got my backs. They're always glad to see me when I show up. I mean, they've made comments like, "We like nice people and you're the nicest. John works here, he just doesn't get paid." You can tell in the big lap days, how the girls get their makeup all done because they know I'm going to be taking pictures with them. So I mean, stuff like that, and they're always happy to see me. I mean, even when they're not there, they say, "Well, it's John. There's nobody here. How come John's not here today?" It's almost like we're all in it together, kind of a thing. I guess you could call it Disney magic, but it's just the support that they get from the cast members is really keeping me going. I mean, if I didn't have that, I probably would have stopped a long time ago. I actually heard there's been a couple people that have come up to cast me and say, "Well, I've been on this ride 150 times, or I've been on this ride 200 times." And they just like, "You don't know John." Now, I don't know if I'm a celebrity or not. I mean, it's nice. I mean, I won't lie that it's nice that people recognize me for stuff like that. Even the Disneyland convention at Anaheim Convention Center, people recognize me. I walked by, some guy yelled, "Hey, there's the Cars Land guy." I mean, stuff like that. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm not going to lie that I don't like it, but, you know, it's just for somebody that's just going on a ride a bunch of times that I'm getting all this recognition is like, you know, that's not why I do it, but it's like it's kind of an added benefit, I guess you could say. What's going to happen at 10,000? I mean, I'm not going to stop at 10,000, but that is a high mark, and I mean, I'm going to go through 100 different emotions, just the fact that I got to that point. It's going to get crazy when I get to 10,000, I can tell you that. It's going to get pretty wild.
There it is.
And the other side?
My dad always used to say that everybody has a thing. We used to always talk about that. Everybody's have one thing. So this is my one thing. This is the one thing I could do good. I didn't know all this would become of it.
He's now taken a trip on Radiator Springs Racers 10,000 times.
You could pick worse things to do, and this is my one thing that I'm good at.
Kind of didn't think I'd get there, but I did. For the whole 10,000 took 5 years, 5 months, and 3 days.
To this day, Radiator Springs Racers remains one of the largest, most exciting, and most popular attractions at Disneyland Resort.
How about Walt Disney World? Have you spent any time there?
You know, I've never been. That's the only thing that's on my bucket list is to get to Disney World. I've never been there, and everybody says you got to go. That's like, I need to go there. I mean, let's get to 10,000. Maybe I'll think about going there. I got to 10,000 laps. What are you gonna do next? Go to Disney World.
Now get out there and do it proud. Give it everything you got. Take it in that curve. Now power to those hills. Driving in an open stick. Go, go, go! Way to go, hot shot. Tore up that track like a real dirt hound.
You doing okay, John?
Oh yeah,
Comfortable?
oh yeah. It's easy to talk about something you love.
Oh, great, great. That's what we